Hi there, YouTubers. Well, a couple things going on here. I should have said YouTubers and weavers. This will be a sort of a weaving video, although I'm going to be concentrating more on the loom than on the weaving process itself. And it's an experiment. This is my first video using a new microphone. I got a wired lavalier microphone, and I'm trying it out. I hope this works. I hope you can hear me. So the title for this will have something with the word break in it. I don't know if it'll be break time or take a break or something like that. I'll decide that when I edit the video. But what I want to do is talk about the break mechanism on the loom. And it is on the back beam, and as you can see, I'm sitting at the back of the loom. I hope you can figure that out by where I'm sitting. I've got the warp measured out. It's sitting on the lee sticks. It's tied onto the little back beam thing there. Here's the back beam itself, the roller upper thing. But I need to roll it up, and the break is right there. I got my hand on it right now. But I need to loosen that break. So I'm going to zoom in and show you how I release the break and leave it off while I wind this onto the back beam, and then when I'm done winding it on, I'll show you how I reconnect the break and use it to keep tension on this thing as I'm weaving. But let's take a look first at the break mechanism itself. Alrighty, let's zoom in just a little bit. So let's see if I can point out a few things here. So this is my brake mechanism. Here's the brake lever, and there's a piece of wire cabling, almost wire rope, a very thin wire rope that takes a couple of wraps around this wooden wheel and connects to this hook that has a screw on this end with a little thumb bolt on it. So what I'm going to do first is reach over. How am I going to do this without getting in your way? Go to the other side. So I've lifted up and loosened the tension. Now this thing can turn because it's not tight, whereas now it doesn't turn. So loosen it. Then I loosen this thumb screw, which loosens the tension. Now I can drop down, and then see this spring came off? That's what holds it in place part of the way. That keeps tension on it. So now this is loose, and even without, I can move this thing fairly easily. So when I'm winding on, I need this to be loose so I can wind like that. So here's the brake mechanism, and I'm just going to tie this up out of the way. And now I'm ready to begin winding on with no tension on the brake that will stop me from working. Okay, let's see if we can make this all work with you watching and me working. So again, here's the brake wheel with the cable loose. This turns with the back shaft, the wind where we wind it onto. I've got the thread tied, looped over this little metal bar, and then I do a loop around with a piece of cord to make it all nice and tight, so it all stays about even. Keeps the tension on it so we don't bend that metal bar when we put tension on the warp. And what I'm going to start to do is turn this, and as you can see, that's turning the back beam here. So this does the same way. And now let's see if we can turn this just up just a little bit. There. So the threads are going across the lee sticks, and the cross is right in between the two lee sticks. And Yes, I know I should have tension on this stuff, but for the very beginning it's not going to be too critical. So we'll just hold it on with my fingers. And you can get the idea, it just wraps onwards. And to keep it from going backwards, there's a little lever right here, a little flip thing that catches in a ratchet, so it can't go backwards. A pawl and ratchet, I guess, would be the correct words. So you get the idea how easy this is to turn when this brake is off. Okay, I'm holding the camera in my hand now and just turning this, but hopefully you can see where that little pawl is that catches this thing and keeps it from going backwards. Which is why I don't need to have the brake on when I am using this to wind up new warp. Alrighty, YouTubers, the warp that you saw a minute or so ago on your time, but 2 days ago on my time. The miracle of recorded time, huh? Anyways, I've got the warp onto the loom, tied on. This isn't real tight yet, but I'm going to tighten it up first at the back instead of the front. By the way, this is 8.2 Tencil. Tencil, and I've still left the lee sticks in, but we're all threaded through. So let's go down here. Remember my little pawl and ratchet thing? So that's, I'm tightening up. Yeah, they're not super tight, but that's pretty good. So now I'm going to have to put this camera onto the tripod and tighten up the running brake. Remember, I loosened this, so first thing I'm going to do is reattach this spring. That goes like that. This then becomes my brake lever. Now I'm going to hold that up and tighten this little thumb screw. So I've tightened it up about a ½ an inch. That's that. Now I can go in there and I'm going to loosen that ratchet and pawl, and now what's holding this thing is this brake. If I were to do this, it would come loose, but I'll just retighten it like that. So we're tightened up to the amount of tension that I want for now. I'm going to do a final tension tightening at the front. But that's the way I use the brake mechanism and the ratchet and pawl when winding on a warp. So I'm in front. Camera's been moved, it's raised up a little bit. And the way I do this, and I think I've shown this before, but it's been quite a while, so I'll do it again. For tension, I've got groups of threads about 1 inch's worth tied into a knot at the end right about there. And then I just take one string and I loop through each of those like this. You can see that white string. Then I can feel the tension on these and in the middle, and they feel pretty close, although it's a little bit looser on the ends. So I can just adjust this string a little bit and tighten up the ones that feel loose and loosen the ones that feel tight. It's kind of a balancing act. So now let's tighten the whole thing. And again, this At the front is again a ratchet and pawl system. Almost over till it's here, so we'll go back this way just a little bit. And what's holding it at the back is the wire brake mechanism that you saw. So there we go. That's pretty well set up. I'm ready to start weaving. Good morning, YouTubers. This project of showing you the brake system on the loom is done. And I need to caution you that the brake system I showed you is for a Louet Spring. Now, I know there's other looms that have something very similar, but you know, they're not all the same. So I've been showing you the back beam brake system, or the cloth beam, not the cloth beam, the thread beam brake system for a Louet, and specifically a Louet Spring, because the Louet Jane, for example, which is a table loom, doesn't use the same system. But anyways, there's that. Now, the thing is, I need to show you the project that I was doing too, just because I think you ought to see it. But before I show you the project that I just did with this brake system, there's one that I did in between that I didn't make a video of, and I just want to give you a quick look at that one too. So let me go off camera a second and get that and come back and show you. Okay, and you can see I've got my girlfriend sitting here, or standing here, and she's going to show you to. This is an infinity scarf made out of rayon chenille. Not going to show up real good on this young lady because she's kind of the same color, but you get the idea, I think. Hide the label. There you go. A nice rayon chenille infinity scarf. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer to the camera so you can get a better look at the material. And there's the infinity scarf. Okay. So that's the infinity scarf, the rayon chenille infinity scarf. Now, the project that we've just been working on is the Tencil. And again, it's an infinity scarf. There's what the material looks like up close. So let's see what it looks like when we ask this young lady to wear it. Well, that's a little bit long like that. So we'll just loop it around her head one more time. And that makes kind of a nice infinity scarf. I sure hope this shows up decently because she's wearing the same color, or very close to the same color. But anyways, there's the scarf. That's the brake system on the back of the Louet Spring loom, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. If you are a subscriber, thanks a million for being there, and in either case, bye-bye.